So my grandmother was a Rockette at Radio City Music Hall. I know, can you believe it? Yeah. Yes. But she didn't start that way. She started off as a typist. She and her first husband, very edgy, her first husband were typists at a factory in the South. And what I heard from my grandmother before she died was that at some point she realized her life had gotten so much smaller than she had ever thought it would be. And so she called her father, my great-grandfather, Larry, and said, I have to get out of this. And he said, famously, well, I paid to get you in that marriage, I'm going to pay to get you out of that marriage. Which you may use later if you ever need. I think my great-grandfather Larry would bless that. So he got her out of the marriage. He paid for a one-way ticket to New York and her dorm room at a performing arts school. This is the 1940s, right? Famously, her first date in New York was the pilot of the plane that she got the ticket on. And I love that about my grandmother. I love that about her. Now, when she met my grandfather, her second marriage, she met on a street corner, and he saw her green eyes, and she invited him to a show, which was Destiny, and they were married. But on the way to California, he said pretty soon after they arrived that he did not want her to sing anymore because it brought too much attention to her. So my grandmother stopped singing. Now, it's something interesting to be raised by a Rockette. When I was little, our dentist office was very near to her house, and we would go to the dentist, and we would go to her place for lunch, and she'd always famously come out on her long driveway, and the moment my sister and I got out of the car, she'd say, "Show me your teeth," and my sister and I would grin, and then she'd go, "My eyes, I need sunglasses," and she'd fall back dramatically. And then in middle school, I got into theater. And when I was in theater in middle school, we'd all be crowded behind those very flimsy, maybe not unlike this too much, backstage areas. And my grandmother would be in the front row. And she'd be hooting and hollering, and I would be the middle school student behind them, and my friends would say, "Who is that?" That's my grandpa. In undergrad, it continued. I weaseled my way into a folk rock garage band modeled after Fleetwood Mac. And I was one of the lead singers, and she knew we were going to have our coffee shop debut, and I was 19. She came over to the house, she was going to attend, and she says, "I have something to help you with your outfit." Now, hoping it was money, she reached behind her into her bag, and she pulled out one of her own full-length Christmas red sequined muumuu shawls and said, "Certainly you should wear this tonight." And she said, "I want you to show them who you are." When I was with her when she was dying a couple years ago, she was in her late 80s, I would visit her often. And she was turning away the chaplain at the hospice. And I found out she was no longer willing to see the chaplain. Whenever they would come in, she says, "I don't need a minister, my daughter's a minister, or my granddaughter's a minister." Now, Grandma, I cannot be your minister. You have to accept help from the chaplain. She would say to me, like always, "Show them who you are. Show me who you are." Grandma, I don't know if I want to be a minister. Don't you know organized religion is a terrible idea? How could I ever lead something that I don't know if I always believe in? Does that sound familiar to anyone else in here? Yeah, I'm with you. I struggle too. Show them who you are. I am not interested in your intellectual fears of something being not perfect enough. Show them who you are. So my grandmother was very much a lady of Guadalupe because she would demand of me and the people around her that you show yourself even when it seems like there is no one that would expect or respect or receive who you are to be. It was a blessing to be with a woman for my whole life who was constantly pushing me on the edge of showing more of myself. Now, this story, of course, has immense cultural significance to Mexico, to Catholicism, to indigenous legacies and theologies. But for us today, I want us to come alongside this story as a friend with humility and ask ourselves, what is it that this story could teach us at a time also of empire? What does this story tell us about who we are to each other and to ourselves when domination reigns supreme and you've experienced what feels like too much death and too much loss? So it's significant that the sacred shows up to the parts of being that have been marked as worthless. The sacred seems to work that way. I don't get it. But it seems that the things that feel the most made small, the most pushed down, those are the places where roses show up. So it's significant that the lady shows up to Diego and treats him equitably, not sitting on thrones or making commandments. When he struggles, she empathizes. She does not fix or condemn. She comes right up alongside of him and says, yes, this is a hard time to be alive. I have nothing to prove, nothing to fix. I can't give you the right news source that you should be listening to say, stay sane. I have no ways of showing you how to survive in the midst where things feel topsy-turvy and old rules do not apply to you anymore. I cannot show you the way out. This is the way I will show you. I will come alongside you. That is the way we will get through this together. Then he does what every messenger tries to do: get out of it. He tries it once, it didn't work. I shouldn't have to do it again. He tries again. Please, I'm not the right person. I'm not special enough. That one doesn't work. I have a family emergency. I need to take family medical leave from this holy job that I've never signed up for. That doesn't work either. He is the right person. The very thing that feels like not the right thing is the thing that we're talking about. Yes, Diego, this is hard. I am with you. Cared for and consoled, he is resolved. But in ladylike ways, domination is not met by domination. Instead, she finds no need to smite or start floods. Burning bushes is so passé. What she will do instead is tuck beauty inside of him. The beauty that was always inside of him, dignity inside of him, into his cloak, that he must refuse to give up despite all odds. And you can picture it, this man who for 3 times now has been turned away, gathering himself to know when the right time was to show who he was to the right person. And he shows who he is and who she is, and something changes in the willingness. So in the words of a prophetess, a leader, Dr. Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she's a Jungian psychoanalyst, she says, people can go unblessed for years. People go unblessed for years. We walk around feeling like we're living a lot, but really just living a little, laughing just enough to not be noticed. It's like showing up to a swimming hole at summer with your bathing suit in your backpack, but only sticking your toe in. Do you know what it's like to live like that? Where you have everything that you know it would feel like to be truly alive. You are watching other people do it, and yet there is something that keeps you from going fully inside. Now, in one form of therapy, integrated body psychotherapy, this is called a speed limit. Speed limits in this form of therapy are all the things we've inherited from our family and from our culture that say if you go too far, too fast, too wild, too open, too free, you're in trouble. Similarly, if you go too slow, if you don't pick up the pace, if you're not productive enough, you're not really grateful for what I've done for you. You know what I mean by that? So you live in the limits. We move in the limits. The task of Our Lady is that there is something to us blessing our disobedience of the limits. We bless each other out of our limits. We bless each other's disobedience. We say, show us who you are. We say, show me who you are. And not just the roses, but the fact that the roses come from the thing that is tightest and closest and hardest for us. Now, here in our church community, we've been doing cottage conversations. So we've been gathering in people's homes, and we've been talking a bit about what it means to be in this interim time together. And there's 3 kinds of questions I've been asking those of you who've attended. The first question is, why are you really, 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 really at Mountain Vista? Why are you really, 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 really here? The second question I've been asking you is, what do you think a minister's role is? And where in your life do you need ministry now? Would you be willing to say that in front of your friends out loud? And this third question, who have you been at MVUU? Have you been stuck in that role? And what role, what way of being do you really, really want to have as you move forward in this community? What would it take for you to get there? And what that's needing of us, what we've acknowledged in those groups, is that some of us hang out on the edge of meadows like scared deers. We see some of us playing and some of us unsure if it's really safe to go out. That sound familiar? Some of us are critics. Some of us have acknowledged being there and just watching everyone else, judging if they are doing it right. Some of us have said, I'm so in it, I actually don't know what I'm doing anymore. I don't even know if I enjoy it anymore. I don't even know if I'm spiritually fed anymore. I need to step back and make space for someone else to step in. So all of those make sense. I do them too. And here's the offering from Our Lady and from our grandma. Show us who you are. When the time is right and the space is ready for you here, unwrap that cloak that ties itself up around you and show us the roses, because we know they are there. And when you see someone doing that, give it a little blessing. May we be so that way. Amen. I want to invite us into this closing song led by our ultimately awesome MVUU church band.